Okay, guys, today we'll look at chapter 2 that is designed to discuss elements, atoms, and the periodic table. And we'll start with a problem that is on page 88, and the problem states following. Which of the following substances are elements? It is very easy to find out what are the substances elements if you can have a periodic table right next to you. So you can look up the names of each and one of them and see if it's in the periodic table, and therefore you can easily find what substances over here are elements. So let's start with the first one. Sodium, it's in the periodic table and it's an element. Milk is not. Gold, it's an element and you can find it in the periodic table. Water you cannot find it in periodic table, so therefore it's not an element. Air is not an element as well. But there is another one that was liquefied nitrogen. This question is tricky, and the first video that I recorded I actually thought that was correct, but I'm guessing I was incorrect. It is not an element because nitrogen usually exists in diatomic elemental form, meaning that it's a molecule. It's not presented as an element. So liquefied nitrogen is usually meant that it's a molecule nitrogen, not an element, so it's not element. So that was one of the mistakes that I made, so make sure you can fix it. So next question, which of the following is substances are elements? Question number 2, which of the following substances are elements? Same type of a question, and as I said, it is much easier if you have a periodic table next to you. So in your periodic table, you can find that C and D are two elements, neon and carbon. Wood consists of many elements, concrete consists of many elements, same like paper, same like electricity. The next one is very easy question. Exactly for this type of question, you need a periodic table. Some chemical symbols for elements you must memorize. Question A, silver is represented as AU, sulfur is S, nitrogen as N, neon as Ne. Just pay attention that all of the chemical symbols start with a capital letter. The second letter is usually the lowercase. So make sure for the most common you will look up and you can easily find it in a periodic table. Fourth question is the same one. What is the chemical symbol for bromine is Br, oxygen is O, lithium is Li, and boron is B. What we were just talking about. Explain why it is improper to write CO as a chemical symbol for cobalt. So first of all, cobalt represented as a chemical symbol as CO. First letter is capital, second letter is lowercase. If you write it like this for cobalt, two letters are capital, meaning that you're considering a completely different product. This is called carbon monoxide. Two different elements combined and created a substance called carbon monoxide, which consists of carbon and oxygen. This is not cobalt. Cobalt is right over here. Same question is asking you about NO, usually known as nitrous oxide. NO is not the chemical symbol for nobelium. Nobelium is represented this capital first one and the lowercase second letter. So this is your element. This is not your element. This is actually a substance. How many protons on page 109, we're starting with the structure of each nucleus. So you know that nucleus consists of protons and neutrons, and there are also electrons that are located outside of nucleus that are surrounding the nucleus. These are the components of each element. So by knowing the number of protons, you can identify the element, because protons are usually defining your element. And it's very easy to find the number of protons in your periodic table because it equals to your atomic number. This is how you know what's the number of protons in your element. Therefore, also, you can find out that for this specific question, for answer A, it has 86. For question B, tungsten, if you look up in your periodic table and you find that its atomic number is 74, therefore the number of protons is 74. For chromium, it's 24. For beryllium, it's 4. Let's look at a different example. How many protons are in the nucleus of each element? And you're given 4 different examples. So let's start with sulfur. I gave you a small screenshot of a periodic table. And let's look at sulfur. So this is how you usually see elements in the periodic table. Number on top, number on the bottom, the name, and chemical symbol. Sometimes they do not provide you the name, but most of the periodic tables have names. So sulfur has an atomic mass of 32.06 grams per mole, and it also has an atomic number of 16. Therefore, it has 16 protons. Sulfur has 16 protons. If you look at the uranium, it has 92 because its atomic number is 92. Calcium has 20. Lithium has 3. Questions 3 and 4 ask you about the atomic number, which we just mentioned before. This is the same number as the number of protons, so you can right away, if you know the atomic number, you know the number of protons. And this question over here, how many electrons are in neutral atom of the element in exercise 2? The atomic number of sulfur is 16. Neutral atom means it doesn't have a charge. When it doesn't have a charge, the number of electrons equals the number of protons and equals the atomic number. So therefore, you can find the number of electrons in sulfur is 16, same as the number of protons, is same as the number of atomic number.